Today's global community shares an increasingly inescapable burden, the plight of orphans around the world. Neglect, abuse, war, disease, and poverty are robbing millions of children of the fundamental foundation of a healthy life, being part of a family. There is, in the nation's capital, a group working tirelessly on behalf of foster children and orphans on a daily basis. The Congressional Coalition on Adoption Institute is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization with an unrelenting commitment to eliminate the barriers that hinder needy children from being united with loving families. As CCAI unites the heroic kindness of everyday people with the global influence of the United States Congress, those barriers fall.
The most passionate people in the world are adoptive families. And once they bring this child into their life, they find that they love them as much as they would ever love a biological child.
My parents, they had 2 biological children, then they adopted my brother and I, and then my dad said, our family is complete.
It's a miracle that we were created in such a way, with such a capacity to love.
There are kids that need to be adopted. There are people that want to adopt them. We have to bring these 2 groups together.
We seek to inform members of Congress in very creative ways so that they will learn what they believe needs to be done. And there's a lot of things that do need to be done. Children are spending far too long in foster care without finding permanency. There are innumerable barriers to adoption, both in this country and in inter-country adoption. Governments do a lot of great things, but governments do not do a great job raising children.
One of the things we can all agree on is that children need help, and children deserve the best that we as a culture and community have to offer. For most people, that's what stops. It stops with, man, somebody ought to do something. Well, I know that Carrie and the amazing people that work with her every day are doing something on behalf of foster children and children that need to be adopted around the world.
CCAI concentrates its efforts on behalf of children into 5 major areas, each reaching a vital need in the fight for children.
We've identified 180 members of Congress who are members of the coalition who care about orphans and foster children.
When you're dealing with Congress, there are so many important issues with which they must deal. And unless you have an organization like CCAI that helps bring that focus onto the world of adoption, congressmen and women will be drawn into other issues, and though they may care deeply about it, there won't be a way to focus the energy. And that's what CCAI does.
Every issue, every cause has people who are advocating for them. And why not for children?
The Angels in Adoption program is one of our programs where we want them to experience adoptive families, to really get to know their constituents who are the unsung heroes in their states, really making a difference for orphans, foster children, vulnerable, abused and neglected children.
My heart is filled with joy as I see so many people who have made a place for children in their hearts and in their homes.
After experiencing an Angels in Adoption celebration, it's as if kind of gas gets thrown on the fire of adoption that's already burning in your heart. You walk away going, okay, how can we do more? How can we get more of these children and families? How can we support more of the work that CCAI is doing? What can I do?
There's one program that I've seen incredible fruit, and it's been in our program that we call the Foster Youth Internship Program, where we take children, youth who've emancipated from the foster care system, and we put them on Capitol Hill to intern for a member of Congress.
Became a ward of the court about 13 years old, and so I was bounced around from group homes, and I probably went to about 18 different schools growing up, from high schools to middle school, and so yeah, I never stayed anywhere, and that was really, really hard.
One of the applicants for this year said, I want to do this program because I want to be the seen of the unseen and the voice of the unheard. And that's what they are. Some of the interns had spent time in homeless shelters. They had no family to speak of, and they left saying, for the first time in my life, I have a family. They have a future, they have a hope, and they didn't have that before.
Being with the Congressional Coalition on Adoption has been amazing because I feel like, in a way, like a child again, like being loved. I can turn to them, and that's something I've not felt.
It's changing the lives of members of Congress. It's changing the lives of congressional staff. It's changing the lives of these interns, and it's changing my life. National Adoption Day. It's a day when communities across the nation come together to celebrate adoption. We provide opportunities for members of Congress to be part of those celebrations.
The work of the Congressional Coalition on Adoption reaches far beyond the borders of the United States. CCAI sponsors fact-finding trips to countries such as China, Russia, Guatemala, Romania, and Uganda in an effort to pave the way for international adoptions. Congressional leaders and sponsors are provided a hands-on opportunity to assist needy children in a way that will affect profound change.
Because we have the word congressional in our name, people assume that we get funds from the federal government. But in order to maintain the integrity of our organization and the integrity of our congressional members that are on the board of this nonprofit, we don't take federal funding. So we rely on the generosity of individuals. We rely on writing grants to foundations or corporations, and we're very grateful to those people who do support us.
CCAI plays a major role in helping bridge the gap. Anything we can do to help these children of the world is our responsibility.
People talk about strategic giving. I believe giving to the work of CCAI is one of the most strategic things any funder can do. I can't imagine doing something more important than helping children who, for whatever reason, are found without parents. Abuse, neglect, war, disease, abandonment, whatever it is, children find themselves alone sometimes, and they don't deserve it, and they need, we as adults, governments, have an obligation to find them families.